Report. More picketing at Boise Cascade. The governor will try again to negotiate with labor leaders.
A conference in Bloomington reveals some startling news about Twin Cities crack babies.
And Riverfest turns up its volume 10 decibels. I'm Cindy Hilcher.
I'm Alan Cox, along with Matt Balo and Scott Reynolds. The 6 p.m. report is coming up next.
It's easy. It's fast and it goes over anything. It reduces condensation and noise. It's not metal, so it can't rust or corrode. It's the first roof with a lifetime warranty, and it's beautiful. It's Ontoline, the lifetime roofing.
At Midwest Wire and Steel Products, South St. Paul, distributed by Georgia Pacific.
No guests, no audience, no crew. What is going on, you say? Well, we are moving. I'm Oprah Winfrey, and on September 5th, we're switching to Channel 4. It's the same station with Don Shelby and Colleen Needles and the 5 p.m. report. We're beginning a brand new season on Channel 4. It's a new season of people, opinions, issues, and topics. Find out why. It's a change for the better.
The Oprah Winfrey Show.
September 5th at 4 on Channel 4.
Trucks in International Falls bring in the beginnings of temporary housing for workers at Boise Cascade's expansion. It could also mean the beginning of even more labor troubles in the city.
WCCO Television presents Mike Walsher, Debbie Fabian, Matt Balo, and Ralph John Fritz. This is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening. Governor Rudy Perpich still has hopes of helping resolve the labor situation in International Falls.
The governor's planning to go to Virginia, Minnesota tomorrow to see if labor leaders will agree to call off the wildcat strike at Boise Cascade. Workers have been off the job almost 2 weeks, protesting the use of non-union labor for the company's $535 million expansion. Our Jeff Kelly is in International Falls with the latest. Jeff?
Alan, behind me you can see the Boise paper mill. It's at the center of this controversy. As you mentioned, it's undergoing a $500 million expansion. Now, many of the strikers here feel that too many of the jobs are going to non-union workers, while Boise says that isn't so. Now, the feeling among strikers up here is that time is starting to run out. In fact, one of them got arrested today after fighting with a non-union contractor.
I looked out there and I looked over there and he was swinging it out with him. Then he got on top of him on the ground there and pounded him out, and we got this on a video camera right now. There's a lot of blood over there in the street.
Terry Atchison's describing a fight between a striker and a non-union local contractor, a fight that landed the striker in jail. It happened at a spot where Boise's building temporary housing for 1,000 workers, many of them non-union. Many strikers say things are now getting tense, and this fight is just the beginning.
It isn't getting any better, let's put it that way. It isn't getting any better, it's getting hotter.
It's getting hotter because about 100 strikers could lose their jobs on Monday if they don't go back to work. The general contractor on Boise's mill expansion, called BE&K, has sent out warnings to 8 union subcontractors, saying start work again on Monday or else. The strikers say their fate is now in Governor Perpich's hands. They hope that he can still reach a compromise with BE&K, but last-ditch talks fell through last night when Boise backed away.
I am rather disappointed at that. I think that it shows what the long-range plan is by Boise here and by BE&K, that they intend to break the unions.
Special security guards can be seen on Boise's property, and work on the mill continues with non-union labor keeping things on track. Boise says it's not trying to break the unions at all. It says it welcomes its union workers. But it says now's the time for the strikers to return to work. Boise says it doesn't expect any trouble on Monday.
I think it's been relatively calm the past week, and I really don't know what to expect with next week, but hopefully we'll go forward.
Now, a spokesman says that Governor Perpich is coming up to Virginia tomorrow in an effort to keep the ball rolling, to keep the two sides talking. And this trip is really the latest that the governor has taken in his own brand of shuttle diplomacy. Alan?
Jeff, these labor union members on the range are part of the governor's political constituency. You think they're going to hold it against him if he can't work a miracle in this case?
I don't think so at this point. They realize he's up against a lot, trying to pull a compromise here, and I think they're saying that he's their best hope at this point. I don't think that they would hold it against him if it doesn't work out.
Thank you, Jeff Kelly, reporting live from International Falls. An argument outside a billiards parlor left a South Minneapolis man dead from a gunshot early today. The victim was 18-year-old Arthur Bankston. He had some sort of disagreement with 3 men on the street at Side Pocket Billiards on the corner of Lake Street and Bloomington Avenue. One of the 3 men shot Bankston, who staggered to the parking lot of a medical clinic nearby and then collapsed. 4 hours later, police took 3 suspects into custody at an apartment building about a mile away. They could be charged Monday. Just a block away, another man was shot in the foot early this morning. Investigators won't say whether they consider the shootings related.
This is the second night of Riverfest in St. Paul, meaning last night was the first time the festival was allowed to turn its amps to a higher volume than last year. The St. Paul City Council is letting the music play 10 decibels louder this year, as Darian Ward reports.
Riverfest, billed as Minnesota's premier music festival, is not without its headaches. Last year, the extreme heat and high food prices were problems. This time around, some say the debate is over the sounds of music, or rather, the louder sounds of music. The 110 decibel level was put to the test last night as Ringo Starr and his all-star band took center stage. Residents in Prospect Park were on guard.
What I noticed in past years was a pounding bass sound that sometimes would rattle my windows. And at least last night I didn't notice that.
Even though the decibel level has been cranked up this year, one reason why some homeowners aren't feeling the full effects is because the main stage has been turned lengthwise across the site and away from residential areas.
Last night I could hear it because my bathroom window was open, but it wasn't that bad. I didn't have any problems dealing with it. It sounded good to me.
We monitored it last night, and they monitor it for the peaks and the valleys, and of course the average. And interestingly enough, the average was 104, which is closer to the 100 that it originally was than the 110 that were allowed.
Along with the level of music, most homeowners around Harriet Island were affected by a parking problem last year. Too many cars in the area and too many people.
Last night there was 1 beer can on my lawn. In past years there was, well, one night several years ago there were about 6 drunken teenagers that came and knocked on my door about 11 o'clock at night.
This year, the city erected fences to ward off the level of traffic through Prospect Park. It's just another move to strike a happy balance between homeowners, promoters, and festival goers. Darian Ward, WCCO Television News, St. Paul.
Riverfest continues tonight with the Bee Gees taking the main stage at 9.
The problems drugs cause for the people who use them are nothing new, but the impact drugs have on unsuspecting victims like newborn children has not received that much attention until recently. A just-completed study shows that 1 out of every 20 infants born in the Twin Cities has cocaine in his or her blood, and in some public hospitals that number is as high as 1 baby in 14. Today, doctors and nurses who take care of the children of drug users met in Bloomington to discuss the ways to reduce the risk to the unborn. This is the first time a study like this has been done in the Twin Cities. Although the numbers are not as high as in other large cities, the problem may be even greater here than the figures indicate.
We're not that far behind, and we actually may be on par with them because of the different ways they might have done their study versus the way we did our study.
The study was sponsored by the Minnesota Department of Health. It took about 3 months to complete.
A 5-year-old girl is dead tonight after being hit by a car in rural Clearwater. The Wright County Sheriff's Department says the girl ran out in front of a car driven by a 16-year-old Elk River girl. The accident happened last night near the border of Stearns and Wright counties. The victim's name hasn't been released. It's taken nearly half a year, but cleanup is close to an end at a tire dump that burned for days last winter in Andover. More than 250,000 tires caught fire at the dump last February in what is believed to be a case of arson. 175,000 more tires have been shipped out since then. The last 300 tires will leave within a week. The cleanup has cost the state $200,000, and there's more expense to come from testing for pollution. At one time, the Andover dump had 3 million tires. Most were shipped to Somerset, Wisconsin, where they caught fire.
The 6 p.m. report will continue in a few moments with a quick tour through one of St. Paul's most historic mansions. We'll be right back.
Twins are headed for the Big Apple, where they'll try to blast the Bronx Bombers out of the ballpark. See the Twins take on the Yankees Tuesday and Wednesday on Midwest Sports Channel.
Extra, extra. Kentucky Fried Chicken introduces new Extra Tasty Crispy. Millions cross the road to try it. Dateline, Duluth. Man devours 47 pieces, asks for more. Through and through flavor captivates the country.
Tastier. Great chicken. Extraordinary.
Only Kentucky Fried Chicken has it, and the demand is astounding. Extra, extra. New Extra Tasty Crispy. It's a whole new reason to cross the road to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Where I come from, everybody's so friendly, always saying hi, smiling, talking about stuff. The Twin Cities are that way, too. Maybe that's why I feel so at home here. It reminds me of when I was growing up in Oklahoma and Alabama. I remember sitting on the front porch for hours, rocking and talking and sharing what's been going on. I guess you could say telling you the news on the weekend sort of comes naturally. And if you see me rock a little, you'll know why.
Debbie Fabian, WCCO News Weekend Anchor.
Hi, I'm Don Shelby. You may have heard about Time to Share. Time to Share means taking a few hours a week and giving of yourself. Like John Johnson, a busy executive with Northwestern Life Insurance. Each week, John works with disabled young people, helping prepare them for the Special Olympics.
You tired? Hey, that was terrific. Did you do great? Holy cow.
You can become part of our Time to Share campaign by calling one of these numbers. Volunteer and take the time to share.
98 years ago, it took 400 workers and 3 years to build at a cost of almost $1 million. Today, the James J. Hill House is the home of the Minnesota Historical Society. It's celebrating the house with a festival honoring the craftsmanship common to the late 19th century. While people toured the historic home, craftsmen demonstrated their skill outside, all part of a tribute to the Gilded Age. The festival continues tomorrow, and the house is open for tours from 11 to 6. More than 100 people looking for a second chance at life gathered at a picnic in Golden Valley today. Former Gopher football coach Cal Stoll organized the event to raise money for heart and heart-lung transplant patients and their families. 2 years ago, Stoll had a heart transplant, and since then he spent much of his time lending support to others who faced the same operation. Stoll is hoping to use some of the money raised today to build a house where families of transplant patients can stay while the patient is in the hospital.
They ran through the night. They even ran through the rain this morning. They were part of a 24-hour run against cancer. It's a relay marathon made up of teams from local companies, families, and college fraternities. The members are collecting pledges of money, trying to raise more than $4,000 by the time the event ends an hour from now. Between shifts on the track, runners and skaters entertain themselves in pajama parties held under big tents at the edge of the track. All the money raised will go toward research into treatment of and education about cancer. Rubber ducks, thousands of them, took a swim in the Mississippi River today to raise money for Camp Confidence. The ducks are owned by sponsors, and the money raised goes to the camp, which is a facility for developmentally disabled kids in Brainerd. Owners also get a discount at Riverfest tonight. There had been plans for an Army helicopter to drop the ducks in the water, but that plan was scrapped.
Matt Balo is up next to let us know if this gloomy weather that only ducks could love will continue through the weekend. Prospects are not good.
Yes, Mother, I am getting my life together.
Oh, no! Forgot to add the fabric softener!
If only she knew about Solo. You can't forget the softener in Solo, because Solo is detergent and fabric softener in one. Solo gives you a clean so soft, it's actually fluffed up higher with softness.
No, stop!
Yes, Mother, I missed it.
Next time, get Solo. It cleans with a softness you can't forget.
Send the ball over. Watch the ball. Okay, set it. Over. Good! Great.
What I want you to do is I want you to take second, okay? And you can take center. Put your arms around, bring him in close to you.
Take a kid off the street, volunteer, and take the time to share.
Oh, they got a lot of things in the zoo. One of the part, my favorite part of...
Can a dead man commit murder? His doctrine preached polygamy, and the rules were simple. Live by his word or die. Today, followers of his evil clan may be fulfilling his deadly policy.
They've been raised with no mom, no dad, no guidance.
They've been told we are family, we are right, and everybody else out there is the bad people.
The investigation into the Klan that kills on Inside Edition.
Exclusively on Channel 4, Monday.
This piece of athletic equipment is perfect for baseball, football, hockey, and more. What is it? A radio tuned to WCCO AM 830.
There's a fastball swung on, hit in the air.
No other radio station has our athletic ability.
Gang activity is growing in the Twin Cities, bringing drugs and crime to both suburban and inner-city neighborhoods. And the Minneapolis Police Department needs our help. If you have information about drug activity, please call this number today.
I said only ducks could love this weather. I've done enough stories about the drought effects that I know that this is good news for a lot of people in Minnesota.
Yes, it is. You hate to have this kind of weather come on a day when most people have the day off, but last year we didn't get many of these days at all. So it's good that we have them once in a while, and tomorrow should be okay. The whole weekend won't be a complete, total washout anyway. Fun. They did have fun. Some kids out at Pike Lake at New Brighton out there, checking out some of the water there and acting very duck-like, indeed. High today was 72, the low 65. Not much range there because of the cloud cover that we've had, but that's within the normals of 83 and 60, and over an inch of rain officially out at the airport, 1,100 inches. Cloudy right now in 71, the relative humidity 84%. The wind is northeast at 5, the dew point up there at 66. The barometer right now is steady. It reached 29.92 inches. Here's a look at the satellite picture from last night when thunderstorms were developing very rapidly over parts of the eastern Dakotas, and those thunderstorms moved across the state overnight, giving us the very badly needed rain. And most of the energy with the storm system now has moved down into parts of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And the low-level clouds we have right now are not picked up very well by this satellite. So even though it appears clear here, of course, if you look outside, there are plenty in the way of clouds out there. And the radar replay from last night at 10:30, Mike Fairborn left you with a picture showing that rain on the way in. That rain very slowly made its way across the central portion of the state, mainly a north-south line. Those thunderstorms dropping over an inch over much of the Twin Cities and then moving on very rapidly towards the east. A few showers did develop early this morning again down in southeastern Minnesota and along the Minnesota River. But right now, within 120 miles of the Twin Cities, no rain out there. This is all false return to the south. Most of the precipitation has ended, at least for the time being. But we did get quite a bit, and it was all badly needed. 5 inches of rain over in Virgil, South Dakota. In Minnesota, the west central part of the state got most of the rain, 3.75 inches. In Madison, Granite Falls with almost 3 inches there. Much of central Minnesota had over an inch of rain. That pushed on into parts of west central Wisconsin. Eau Claire with an inch and a half today. And most of the state, as I mentioned, getting a good dousing of it. In the Twin Cities, we did have almost an inch at every reporting location. They had 9,400ths of an inch here at WCCO, 9,300ths down in Burnsville, over an inch up at Champlin, an inch over at Young America. Most of the rain, as you just saw, has ended, but dew points are still very high, 60s and 70s, a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. And there's a front that's providing us with a little bit of instability. That frontal system right now is going to give us that instability, along with that moisture, the chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm to redevelop tonight. And as that storm system continues to push on, some drier air should move in, giving us some sunshine tomorrow, but still, with all the moisture and the dew point still high tomorrow, there'll be the possibility of a shower as well. But tomorrow we'll see much more sunshine than we had today. That is for certain. The forecast for this evening, mostly cloudy, a small chance of a shower redeveloping, partial clearing late, though, with a low of 65. An east wind at 5 to 15, and then for tomorrow, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible, and with some sunshine, it'll be warmer, a high of 85, and a north wind at 5 to 15. Then for tomorrow evening, partly cloudy and mild with a low right around 63, and then for the start of the week, mostly sunny, 85 degrees for everybody to get back to work. And then for the period Tuesday through Thursday, a chance of thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday, but highs mainly in the mid-80s, overnight lows mainly in the 60s. So more rain possibly towards the middle of the week, and a few nice days in between without any.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Matt.
Yep. Okay, we've got an interview just in from Detroit with Frank Viola on the latest trade talk, and some inner-city girls getting a chance to sharpen their jump shots and rebounding at a special camp this weekend. That story part of Scott Reynolds' Sportscast coming up next.
For years, our competition has been mimicking us. We came out with Sanka decaffeinated coffee.
We've got decaffeinated.
We came out with Sanka ground on instant.
We've got ground on instant.
Well, we've let another cat out of the bag. A natural decaffeination process that only we have, using pure water and effervescence to remove virtually none of the coffee flavor from the bean. That ought to hold the competition. Sanka ground decaffeinated coffee. You can't beat the original.
She prayed to God all night, help me, please help me, and she was hearing voices, and she would hold her head.
On the next Sally Jesse Raphael, an inside look at the madness of schizophrenia.
Tumbleweeds were chasing me. I felt like birds up in the sky were trying to get me.
I held her all night, and she cried and sobbed, and it was really horrible. She walked like a zombie.
Schizophrenia is a very hard thing to live with. I may have it, too.
The horror of schizophrenia on the next Sally.
Monday at 3 on Channel 4.
No guests, no audience, no crew. What is going on, you say? Well, we are moving. I'm Oprah Winfrey, and on September 5th, we're switching to Channel 4. It's the same station with Don Shelby and Colleen Needles and the 5 p.m. report. We're beginning a brand new season on Channel 4. It's a new season of people, opinions, issues, and topics. Find out why. It's a change for the better.
The Oprah Winfrey Show.
September 5th at 4 on Channel 4.
If you're interested in it,
it seems to be a problem that is on everyone's mind.
it's on Donahue.
They hear voices and they talk to themselves. They suffer from schizophrenia, and they are often homeless. Mentally ill patients have been released from mental hospitals with nowhere to go. They're living on the streets without treatment for their illness. What can be done to help them? Next time.
Monday at 8 on Channel 4.
Okay, is Viola with us, or is he?
He's still in a Twins uniform, but they're heading toward New York, if that might mean anything. I don't know. Frank Viola says he was so distracted by trade rumors that he can't even remember the game he pitched yesterday against the Tigers. Not that he would want to. Sweet music hit another sour note. Chet Lemon cracking his 5th home run. Viola gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings. He walked 5 and struck out just 1. The Twins lost the game 6-4. Then rookie Mike Dyer won his first big league game in the 2nd game of that doubleheader. Now, the Twins and Mets have until midnight Monday night to complete a Viola trade. And Viola seems just as upset by the trade rumors as he does with his performance this season.
Affected, man. I'm not that type of person who can block things out of my mind, you know. First part of the year, first started to it was a contract, and now it's this trade rumor. Now, it's something that I'm flattered by, but, you know, it's something that once Monday comes, I'll know one way or the other. You know?
The sideshow to the Viola saga has been the Twins themselves, and tonight rookie Mark Guthrie, just called up from Portland, makes his first big league start after a couple of strong relief innings. He'll face the seasoned veteran Jack Morris of the Tigers. That's coming up right here on Channel 4 following our 6 p.m. report. Well, the Twins could have used the old Mike Smithson, or the new version today, actually. Did he pitch a strong game? A rare outing this afternoon, shutting out Cleveland for 8 innings in a 5-0 Boston win. Doesn't look like the Smithson that we saw in a Twins uniform not that long ago. Boston 5-0 over Cleveland. Seattle jumped out 8-0 in the first inning and leads Oakland 14-6 right now in the 7th. The New York Mets' need for Frank Viola may have increased today. The Cubs pounded Mets pitching all day long, including the possible future twin, David West. And Ryan Sandberg teed off on Wally Whitehurst for a 2-run shot later in the inning. Damon Berryhill follows with this solo blast. Cubs win at 10-3. The Mets have now lost 5 straight games. And Houston with 4 home runs, and it must have been former Twins pitcher day, Mark Portugal, with a 3-hitter for the Astros in that victory over San Francisco. Trade rumors always hot and heavy, of course, just prior to deadline. There was one big deal completed this afternoon. The Chicago White Sox sent all-star outfielder Harold Baines and Fred Manrique to Texas. In exchange, the Rangers give up their high-priced shortstop Scott Fletcher, Sammy Sosa, and pitcher Wilson Alvarez. And a number of basketball prospects of different sorts have been nourishing their skills this week at St. Paul Central. The Shooting for the Stars basketball camp for inner-city girls has been going on, and Mike Max paid a visit.
The objective for starting the Shooting for the Stars camp was simple: give something back to the inner city in the form of basketball.
There were 8 of us young ladies here in the area who are all former basketball players from this area. Our careers started down at Oxford Playground, which is right across from Central High School, and we were meeting, just getting together, and decided we came up with this idea for this clinic.
So they started this week-long evening camp. Everyone from the coaches to the referees are volunteers. The cost is $10 a participant. The hope to develop a love for the game of basketball.
I want her to develop some techniques in basketball and show an interest into the sport. And if she can do that, then that's fine. And not be scared of the ball.
When the ball goes underneath the basket,
The basics are emphasized. It's not exactly a hotbed for quality basketball. But then again, that's not the idea.
Yeah.
What's been the most fun about camp this week?
The games, when you play against each other, the competition of the games. You get to learn about basketball, and you get to meet a lot of new friends.
So the goal of this camp was for inner city girls to be able to develop their basketball skills, make some new friends, and above all, have fun. And the looks on the faces tell the story of a camp well run. With photographer Nancy Suhu, Mike Max, WCCO Television Sports reporting.
Possibly some future Olympians there. Who knows?
It's good. Game time in 10 minutes.
That's it. And Viola on the bench, not sure where he'll be playing in a week.
All right. Thanks, Scott. We'll be back in just a minute with a birthday celebration that not too many people get a chance to be here for. We'll explain when we come back.
Sun Valley Waterbed's All-Star Break was such a hit with the fans that it's going into extra innings. So now you have until Monday to get a huge break on today's hottest lineup of waterbeds with tremendous savings on Soma. Romantic canopy beds, just $6.99. Elegant Charmans, just $5.99. Two-tier bookcase or four-poster beds, only $1.99. Half price on all pillows and mattress pads. Plus, there are no payments and no interest for 6 months. Sun Valley Waterbed's All-Star Break has gone into extra innings. Don't miss it.
The skies are going to ignite with thunder as Channel 4 and Wilson Foods present the Minnesota International Air Show, Wednesday, August 16th, featuring the world-famous United States Air Force Thunderbirds. Tickets available through Ticketmaster and at the gate. The Minnesota International Air Show, Wednesday, August 16th at 2 p.m. at the Cambridge Municipal Airport, presented by Wilson Foods and Channel 4.
The canyon, the island, and the mountain caves. 3 learning landscapes for your child. I'm Dr. Margie Hogan, inviting you to the Children's Museum at Bandana Square for Habitat, a new and permanent exhibit for infants and toddlers. Habitat is visual, oral, physical, and it will challenge youngsters during an important time in their lives. Best of all, Habitat is for you and for your child. Habitat, from the Children's Museum and Channel 4.
Winning the Tour de France was a great moment for me, and with more and more Americans riding their bicycles this year, I'd like you to remember some basic safety rules. Go with the flow of traffic and stay to your right. Check for traffic before making a turn, and always wear a helmet. My whole family enjoys cycling, and you will too, if you remember these rules of the road. So let the good times roll.
Register at any participating Hardee's restaurant to win the next Coca-Cola Classic Sports Tickets grand prize, a trip for 2 to the NBA All-Star Game. Play to win with Channel 4.
Finally tonight, a story with many happy returns.
100 to be precise. Today, Jenny Arneson and her family celebrated Jenny's 100th birthday. The birthday bash was held at Jenny's son's home on Pike Lake in New Brighton. Jenny grew up in Montevideo, the daughter of a gunslinging sheriff back in the late 1800s. A century later, Jenny lives with her son, but is still very active in senior citizens organizations, and she takes a long walk every day, which is more than some of us can say for ourselves, actually. Happy birthday. And in a few moments, we'll get you out to Tiger Stadium.
Good night, everybody. See you after the game.
When you're feeling kind of blue, I tell you what you do, you just smile, and things are gonna get better. Mickey and Donald and you just smile. They'll pick you up when you fall down. They'll make you smile when you start to frown. Mickey and Donald and you.
Mickey and Pal's adhesive bandages bring back the smile.
Smile, smile.
This is Minnesota, getting out and enjoying the great outdoors with family and friends. That's why Channel 4 and the Heartland Chevy dealers are proud to present the Minnesota Hunting and Fall Sports Show, August 11th through the 13th at the new Minneapolis Convention Center. It's the sports show for the entire family, with live demonstrations daily, expanded boating and camping sections, and wildlife art. The Heartland Chevy dealers Minnesota Hunting and Fall Sports Show, August 11th through the 13th.